Hi, I'm Jay, and this is a Trion / Herrmidifier brand bypass style humidifier. And what we're going to do today is talk about one of the common questions we get, and that is, why is there no water coming down the drain of my humidifier and my house is dry? So if you have that situation where you have a house that's dry and there's no water going down the drain, trickling down it, and it does not appear to be working, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that the furnace is running and the humidistat is spun up as high as it can go, and that's what we're going to do now. Okay, now that we've made sure that the humidistat is spun at its highest setting and the furnace is running, we're going to take a look here, and we don't see any water trickling down the drain, and with this particular model we should have that happening. So there's something going on here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to turn the water off, and we're going to disconnect this and take a look to see if there's any water actually here. Before performing this service, it is necessary to shut off the water. Find the saddle valve, turn it clockwise until it stops. All right, now that we have the water turned off, we're going to go ahead and disconnect this feed tube here from the humidifier, and we're going to see what happens. Okay, now this particular humidifier happens to have a quick style connect where you push up on this little black ring and you slide the tube out. A lot of models don't have that. They have a little brass nut here that you have to loosen up. And if that's the case, then you'll have to get a couple of wrenches out. But this particular one happens to have the pressure style, so it was easier to get off. All right, now that we have the tube in our hand, we're going to point it into a bucket, and we're going to have someone in the background turn the water back on and make sure that we actually do have water here. All right, perfect. All right, so as you can see, we do have water at this point here. So now we're going to turn the water back off. There we are. And we're going to reconnect it. There we are. Again, this one's a lot easier because it has this fancy slip style connector on it. So there we are. So now the next thing we're going to do is turn the water back on, and we're going to test it again. Now that everything else is done, you can turn the water back on. Locate your saddle valve and turn it counterclockwise. All right, now we have the water turned back on, the humidistat turned all the way up, and the furnace running. And you can see there's still not water trickling down the drain line here, and I don't hear any water running. So there's still something wrong. So now we're going to check to see if we have voltage here. So this is just 24 volts on this model, so we're going to very carefully remove the wire nuts one at a time. Put our voltmeter on there, that's the one. Okay, so we have a voltmeter attached to these wires, and we have them separated. You want to be careful when you do this that you don't short these wires out to each other or to ground the ductwork or anything like that. So we have the voltmeter on here. They are still connected, okay? Everything's still attached, and we're going to take a look. Okay, so we have a little over 26 volts. So what you want to find here is anywhere from 19 to 28 volts, somewhere in that range. AC, not DC. And so we have a little over 26 volts AC, which means we do have power to the solenoid valve that's hiding under this cover here. So right now, this thing should be running, but it's not. So apparently we have a problem with the solenoid valve. So I'm going to take this cover off so we can look inside and actually show you the valve. Now that I have the cover off, let's take a look. If you look right inside here, this is the solenoid valve, and it's printed on here 24 volts AC. And we do have power to it. We have a little over 26 volts AC power to it. We do have our water turned on right now, and there's nothing happening. There's no water running down the pad, nothing. So what we have here is a bad solenoid valve. Okay, now we're going to talk about the other possibility. We have the water turned on, we have the furnace running, we have the humidistat spun up to its highest position, and we have no power. So there's something wrong, and that something is either in the humidistat or the control wiring going to this position or some other situation with the way it's interfaced with the furnace. So in this particular instance, we verified we've had water here. We don't know about the solenoid valve yet because we don't have any power to it to test it. But at this point, the problem is in the control circuit, not the humidifier. Thanks for watching. For additional help or questions, feel free to contact us.